Hello and welcome everybody to this True Prosperity New Moon Prayer Collective call. My name is Robin Flynn, and I am the co-founder of Star River Sanctuary and Visionary Hearts here in Nelson, British Columbia. And I thank you so much for joining with me live and for everyone who's listening in to the replay. When we're entering into these spaces and these places of deep prayer and heart connection, we really are stepping into the non-local quantum field of potential. And so whether we are present when this is being recorded or we're listening in, really doesn't matter, because we are collapsing time, space, and we are joining into a larger collective field, a larger collective prayer and intention for learning and remembering how we can reconnect to the source of all prosperity, true prosperity, and that is our true essential nature. When we're in this earth school, in this dance of life, on this earth walk, it's a wild place to be. In fact, one of my favorite quotes is by an author named Neil Kramer. And he talks about how coming to, earth school, it's like, if we can make it here, we can do anything in the universe. And it's like parachuting in, a commando parachuting in naked to alien territory. And really we're kind of like that every moment of our lives, if we're really honest about it. It's like we're just continually, in this wild journey that is seemingly at times, like somewhat pointless, and yet at the same time as meaningful as we wish to make it. It's a pretty ridiculous experience to be human. We get to have the highest of the highs, the lowest of the lows. Really, Earth School and what we're all doing here is an experience of, as a soul, getting to recognize itself within polarity, and then from that polarity to go beyond polarity. And of course, our world is a beautiful creation of seeming poles, of seeming opposites. And right now, my beautiful husband and I, Darcy Kopas, are once again offering our transmission and shamanic apprenticeship of Diamond Light Healer. And this whole journey of awakening the Diamond Light body is really one of integrating, and then through that integration, evolving and transforming ourselves within the perceptual and conceptual field of polarity. And while there's many primordial, as in the source of life, polarities, the ones that we primarily work with within the Diamond Light Healer apprenticeship is the sacred polarity of male and female, day and night, heaven and earth, spirit and matter, time and space, and the one and the many. And within these 6 primal Yanantines are the primordial energies or forces of creation. And they're primal and they're primordial because we just emerge within them. It's just part of the dance here. There's masculine and feminine. There's the mom and the dad, and that's gotten a little confused these days. But there's also day and night, heaven and earth, spirit and matter, time and space, and the one and the many. But I've really been today like sitting with, well, what are some of these more subtle Yanantines that we find ourselves, really, like, that we really struggle in? And right now on the planet, there is an incredible amount of creative tension. It's a dynamic and creative tension. And it's the tension of the opposites that gives us, genius, sparks of innovation. It's through that dynamic and creative tension that really, as humans, we recognize our brilliance. Funnily enough, like we could have it really easy. It's like every day is a beautiful day, no matter the weather. Here we are, we get to be on this beautiful blue shining jewel of a planet where the green life and the animal life, I mean, really like endless abundance and prosperity on every level. And humans with our creative dreaming, which really what we consider the divine imagination, that creative dreaming, we've dreamt so many different experiences here, and we're currently having them all coincide and collide and cross-pollinate and come together in syncretic fusion, which means like merging together to create a greater evolutionary whole, but also in war and conflict and petty arguments, because that's what we do with our divine imagination. We get to choose how we meet this beautiful creation. However, the big challenge within, the contrast, the poles, seems to be within this idea that love and fear are opposites. Now, I've been really sitting with this recently because we just came out of an amazing 2 weeks of retreat at our sanctuary, Star River, in the Kootenays of British Columbia. And this was something that we looked forward for so many years. We've been working for 4 years to have our beautiful elders and mentors and dear friends, Don Oscar and Cindy Miracasada, come. And many in this live call were there. Thank you so much for coming. And we had 2 beautiful and totally full retreats, and the healing was off the charts. In fact, it was literally mind-blowing, like went way beyond almost everybody's paradigm there. I know it went beyond what my paradigm of healing was and is. I'm still integrating some of that for sure. And so he came from this, 4-year vision and working towards this for 4 years. And in so much of even building our sanctuary and retreat center has been for this moment. It was really a big deal. And then as Don Oscar and Cindy left and we had a couple of days, I noticed how my mind, started to not just try to figure it out, because I love to figure it out. I think it's fun. I love planning and projects and problems and like that whole creative process. But I got really overwhelmed to the point where, thank goodness for the shamanic practices and the energy work practices and prayer to help me just continue to find my center. And the anxiety that came up for me was in trying to figure out how it was all going to happen. This bigger vision of the next phase of Darcy and I's service, the next phase of our community service. And as I was in my medicine bath and really praying, really working with all the tools that we teach, because everything that we're offering, we're sharing the teachings. We see ourselves as revealers, not as teachers. And what we're revealing already lives within each one of us. And then we are all in the practice of living that truth, that beauty. And Darcy and I are in it as much as anyone else. And so I was in this medicine bath and receiving this guidance from, that Holy Spirit, that divine connection within my heart. within, that larger connection to spirit. And what I received was, that love is origin. Love is infinite. Love is what we really do know. And I do know that it is what all is born from. Love is what sustains all, and love is what all returns to. Is one continuum of love that is such a great love, that is such a profound and all-encompassing love, that it is truly infinite. So it is everywhere, always, all of the time. And this love is so big that it's endowed all sentient beings, and especially us as humans, with free will. And that freedom is so absolute that we can give even the idea of free will away, because our freedom is that big. And that's most of where the body of humanity is at right now. We've gone through this Kali Yuga. We're coming out of this great cycle of separation and forgetting and learning and growing our souls through fear. But what I was receiving was that love is that origin, that love is infinite, which is also in this great series of fantasy books that I'm reading. So I just love how that always, like, exactly the message I need is always in the fantasy science fiction books I'm reading. So just to plug those, it's always good to have a novel. It's always good to nourish our imagination with other worlds and other possibilities. It's a passionate part of my practice. But this love and this origin being infinite, that then actually that polarity, that tension that I find myself in, that tension that we find ourselves in, is not love versus fear. That's an illusion. That's a distortion. That's actually a way that love has been hijacked. Because love is so profound and so all-encompassing and so vast that fear can't even touch it. When we're in love, there's no fear. But that the dynamic tension point for fear is faith. And, for many of us who are leaving religious life, or grew up really religious, or grew up in the very, anti-religion or scientific materialism, faith can be kind of a loaded or charged word. So to me, it's like faith and fear are just words that express states of experience within my body and my consciousness. And faith is something that I get to choose instead of fear. Because love is so far beyond both of these states. Love is just what we are. It's our true essential nature. And there's another teaching that then was dropping in this bath, as I was kind of bringing myself from the contraction, from the fear, back into presence, faith, and through that, gratitude, beauty, and love. Is a teaching from a really beautiful series of books and a woman, Kathleen McGowan. And this teaching says, faith and fear cannot exist in the same space. Faith and fear cannot exist in the same space. So choose your master. Choose your master. Choose your teacher. Choose how and what you want to learn through. And so as I was in the bath, it's like all of this was coming through my consciousness, and really the guidance I received. And I feel that this was, I'm sharing it because I feel like it's not just for me. I feel like this is sort of like the practice now, because it's, true prosperity is we're apprenticing to a state of consciousness. We're not apprenticing to a get rich quick scheme. We're not apprenticing to, how do we complete ourselves, because we are already complete. We are already whole. We are already healed. We are already that love. Prosperity is just what we are. We've just got distortions that have been conditioned through countless generations of trauma and the belief in scarcity, the belief in the other, the belief in the disconnection, that disconnection is possible. What we could also call the illusions of separation. And so faith and this choosing of faith, the guidance I received was that it's just that simple to meet these incredible potentials and these incredible challenges that we each find ourselves in. It's a rocky road sometimes. Like, it's every day is beautiful, but sometimes we don't prefer the weather, if you know what I mean. In the vast sky of our consciousness, we have all sorts of judgments about the weather, but the sky always remains. It's that sort of consciousness. But that faith is a choice and fear is a choice. And the guidance I received is that just don't make any choices out of fear. Just wait. That if faith in that moment feels too far away, just don't do anything. But how do we construct our lives and the timeline weaving that is really what we're looking for in this world, is to be conscious creators of our lives, to be instruments of personal and planetary healing, to reimagine not just our bodies into health, but to reimagine, oh, wow, that was awesome. Yes, the AI has, there's a confirmation that's just happened there. I love that. That we are here to dream and reimagine this whole world. But first we got to wake up to what the world is and what we are and what the true nature of consciousness is. And so as we choose faith or we choose fear, all of the great quantum field of potential collapses into that choice point. Just like the light photons, the light of the sun and the stars and the moon, and actually everything is light and radiance. So even the darkness that we perceive with our eyes is actually light. It's just light beyond our visible spectrum. That every choice collapses and structures that light. And while love holds the whole thing, all of us, because it's just what we are, we can't actually be separated from it. We can just believe we're separate from it. We can make choices as though we are separate from it. But in truth, there is no separation from it. It's like separating, our hearts from our bodies. It's just not possible. We just are this one whole love. And so that choice point is what leads to and structures life into ever more beautiful, prosperous, harmonic ways that has nothing to do with control and has no guarantees, because the need to have a guarantee or the need to be in control is actually fear. Control is fear pretending like it's not there, but just trying to control the situation so it doesn't feel the fear. You know what I mean? And so as we enter into a short meditation today, if you so choose. I really wanted to invite this in because it's been so helpful for me. One of the things that I really see in this life is that, it doesn't matter how many hundreds or thousands of sacred plant medicine ceremonies I've done or that any one of us have done. It doesn't matter how many decades on the planet we have. It doesn't matter the highs or the lows. We're always at the leading edge of our conscious evolution if you're choosing to be conscious. This is what is so wildly wonderful about the earth plane, is that we're always at our leading edge. And it's always, if you're conscious, it's edgy. And I love that in this call, two of my beautiful elders and dear friends, and my mom's on this call, and our dear friend Dove, is like they're both at the leading edge, and their leading edge is awesome. And that goes into the 7th decade, the 8th decade. This is just what life is. And every heartbeat and every breath, we get to choose faith, fear. Faith is an ever expanding state into that big love. Fear is an ever contracting state where we feel more and more disconnected to that love. And that polarity, that dynamic tension between those two seems to be really juicy for us as humans. It seems to be part of the creative process. Maybe it's even part of how we can grow our souls here. Without that potential, without knowing fear so intimately, then we don't really understand deep within ourselves what the choice, the power of the choice of faith, the power of the choice of love, and to recognize that true prosperity is in every breath and every heartbeat, and really doesn't have anything to do with money. It just really doesn't. Money is just an excuse to, work with our creative energies here. It's just a way that we do that. But most of all, it's an excuse for not accessing our creative power in every moment. For most of us, it's not having enough money, but for some, it's having too much. But it's really not about money at all. This is something that's so much bigger, vaster, and more beautiful. Okay, cool. So with that, I would love to move into a meditation or a deep dive into a prayer. If there's any reflections from those of you who are live, please feel free to type them into the recording. And we can just begin to drop in if you're listening in, if you're listening in, if you're here present and live, just really welcome you to become conscious of your breath. To allow all of the bigness, the vast field of your consciousness to move from the outer to the inner. To allow your consciousness to sweep through your body. I invite you to smile at your body. Feel your body smiling back. as though your consciousness, as it moves through the interior of your body, really feeling the inside of your bones, soft tissue, muscles, that wherever your consciousness sweeps, you bring that sweet smile, that sweet joy. And as somebody who's experienced long periods of chronic pain, although there's people who've experienced much longer periods as well, especially love and offer this generous space of presence to any place within your body that feels discomfort, while simultaneously noticing the places that feel so good. They just feel good and alive. Bringing your consciousness as though it was a bit of a pendulum, moving into any place of discomfort. And then expanding out into every place within your body that feels good and alive. This could be the surface of your skin, the tip of your nose. There's been times where it's only been very small parts of my body, especially in the intense medicine work of my initial healing journey. There's so much energy moving through me, transforming, that I could only feel good in the end of my pinky finger. But that was enough. So find those places that feel so good and alive. And offer a smile, gratitude. When you perhaps notice a place of tension, allow your consciousness, if you're able, to just gently touch, not to collapse into. Far, far, far too often, we collapse into physical pain, just like we collapse into fear. For they are really one and the same in powerful moments in our lives. Pain is such an incredible teacher, and fear is such an incredible teacher. But always we have the choice to honor the fear, to honor the pain, and then expand beyond, to expand into the comfort, the vitality, the faith, reading these different energies, these different frequencies, vibrations within our being, not just as an idea of fear or faith, but truly as a somatic and lived experience. For fear and faith are just words. But what we experience in our body is known. And so it's never about annihilating the fear or the pain. It's about receiving the teaching and applying it. Receiving the medicine, the wisdom, even the internal guidance of that fear, that pain, that contraction. And then as we draw that in to the larger field of embodied consciousness, then expanding into all those places within the body, within the soma, the many layers of embodied consciousness that makes up the matter of our being. Expanding into what feels good. Right now, all my skin feels so alive. I don't know if I've ever felt the skin on the front, the sides, the back, the soles of my feet in this way. Where in your body feels so good? Drink that in. For so many of us who spent so much time in the fear and the pain and the contraction, that to rebalance ourselves, we need to spend a lot of time in the goodness. We almost become hooked on the pain and the fear, like adrenaline junkies to the bad reality. And so through this new moon and this time, I invite you into this practice. And really, really simplifying the art of connection, bifurcating it in this way: faith, fear, comfort, goodness, pain. And in this way, we repattern the rivers of light and the patterns of light within our bioluminous field, within the living soma of our bodies. It's never about denying the pain or annihilating the fear or numbing it out in any way. It's all about recognizing the power of your presence and free will to choose, and to choose to move into the comfort, the goodness, the expansion. And from that place, receive the teaching, the guidance, and the medicine that the fear and the pain are offering in that moment. Because everything within us holds great wisdom, great opportunities for awakening. All the big feelings, all the big processes, all the trauma and the drama is all here to serve. Even our neurotic tendencies. The teacher resides within all. And those moments of true prosperity and that longer and deeper abiding state of true prosperity, that spirit lives within, not in one pole or the other, but in the dance between the two. With so much love and so much gratitude for you being willing to share this practice with me. Thank you so much. Ayumasi Kanapa. We're all one family. Well, beautiful friends. If you're in a deep place of connection, I invite you to keep going. If you'd like to jump on and say hi or bye, I'm going to I'm going to turn off the recording now. And then I'll just cut this a little bit